Okay. Sorry. Okay, I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. I feel like I haven't been on here in ages. Okay, what time is it? Let me see. Okay, I'm right on time. So I'm just waiting for people to turn up. Hello. While we're waiting, I'd love to know where you're from. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. It's quite chilly today, actually. Rainy and chilly. Okay, so where are you from? I'm on YouTube at the same time. I'm always on YouTube. Whenever I do a live, I go from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok, but I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. So I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. I haven't done a live since, might have been last Thursday. I just haven't had time. Northern California, whereabouts? Small town or San Francisco? San Francisco's changed a lot over the years. I think a lot of downtowns are changing. Not for the better, unfortunately. Become a bit of a wasteland. I know a lot of cities have had a lot of problems. Where are you from? Prince George, sunny and 6 today. Ooh, that's cold. 6. Good evening. I have so many questions until I get here, then I forget. Very small town. Okay, between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe, Nevada, the mountains. Oh, beautiful in there. My parents used to love to go to Reno. Yeah, beautiful. Dodge City, Kansas. And I run an in-home daycare. Excellent. Alaska. Oh, hello, Levi. Alaska. It was one of the dumbest things us Canadians ever did was selling Alaska. I don't think we thought it was going to be worth anything. Turns out it's worth a lot. Okay. Okay, so let's get going with the live. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. My name is Lisa, and I'm a parenting coach. You go in the link above. You can see our free behavior board, our boot camp courses. All those mini courses are going away. They're just going to be included in the toddler course, the boot camp course, because we're getting rid of all the mini courses as of this Saturday. Also, we're starting our group live Q&As with the toddler boot camp courses. Oh, so much to talk about here. Anyways. I get all mixed up. So that's starting the 19th, this Saturday, and it's Saturday morning. You can look it up. Everything's in the link above. Okay. And you can look into coaching. I do coach people one-on-one, any age, well, toddler up to 18 years old. So 16 months to 18 months old, 18 years old. So anyway, if you're interested in one-on-one, that's all there. It's all in the link above. And we have a podcast now. It's all in the link, all on my website. I absolutely love your suggestion to use the per her. What is that, Lisa? Absolutely love your suggestion to use the per her. That's on YouTube. What does that mean? What is that? I know. Oh, phrase as soon as. Oh. To use the phrase as soon as works like a charm. Yeah, what Lisa's referring to is when you want kids to do something, wait until they ask for something. And then you say, sure, you can have a cookie as soon as you cleaned up your mess, as soon as you've put your clothes away, as soon as, it's called the as soon as method. So that's why I never told my kids what to do. If I wanted them to do their chores, put their toys away, do their homework, whatever, I'd just wait till they asked for something. I'd say, sure, we can do that as soon as you finish your homework. And they go, oh, sorry, Mom, sure. And then they do it. They didn't even realize it was me telling them to do something. So yeah, Lisa's saying it worked like a charm. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I'm going to mention this because I'm on Facebook here now. There is a person called Joel Mayo who is impersonating me. It's just all my videos and they're pretending that I'm Joel Mayo, right? They're like setting themselves up that way. Anyway, they're taking money from parents. And if you could just go on, if you wouldn't mind, parents have done this for me. Thank you. If you've already done this, and comment saying this is an impersonator, an imposter, please don't give them money. I've got a big following now across the platforms, and there's a lot of scammers out there, but this one is just raking the money in, I'm sure. And bothers me that there's basically stealing money. So you pay for a subscription, then you don't get anything. Or if you do, it's just more of my videos that you can get for free on here. So anyway, I'd love it if you would just comment that this person is an imposter. It's a fake account And Facebook won't shut it down. We've tried hundreds of times. They don't care. But anyway, so it's Joel Mayo, Joel Mao. I'd love it. I'd just really appreciate it if you would comment on that. What else was I going to say? Why did I write that down? Huh. Oh, I know. Okay, I'm waiting to see if someone turns up in this live. Okay, what else is I going to talk about? The behavior board now is different. I've included a toddler section on there. So before the behavior board, it's completely free. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get the behavior board free. And it includes a toddler section now. So I can't remember what we called it, toddler basics or something. They're not on a behavior board. The behavior board starts at 3. So under the age of 3, there's a section on that now. That's new. We just put that on last week, I think. And once again, all the mini toddler courses are ending this Saturday, and they're all included in the boot camp course for toddlers. So yeah, you can't buy them alone anymore. My daughter and I had a painting party the other day. Not big on what I did, but okay. So let's get going with your questions. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. I like to mix them up, so I don't necessarily answer all the questions because I like to mix up the ages. Oh, cute. This is from Tarina. My 11-year-old starts wrestling team tomorrow and starts chorus soon. Like you said, I chose because she didn't choose an activity. I chose 2 and she seems excited. That's cute. Sometimes you just got to make decisions for them. I always try and ask them, but if they don't come up with something, I say, well, I'll decide then. Okay, so good for you. This is Katie Cooper. You're a regular, I think. My 16-month-old has been doing well with sleeping at bedtime. He self-settled the other night before I even had a chance to get in his room. He's now okay with me in a chair across the room. Oh, good for you. Okay. I just sit there like I'm nodding off and he's been going to sleep. Yeah, that's one thing. I do a bedtime battle, but he's only 16 months old and he's in a crib still, I'm sure. So what I say you can do is get a chair in the room and you can give him your arm if you want, but you're just like nodding off in the chair beside them. So you're not talking to them. It's like you're falling asleep in the chair beside them. So, but don't just hang like that. They might think you're dead. So just sort of look like you're nodding off. And then that, if you can't get them to go to sleep, and eventually they should learn. But good for you. You did it and it's working. Okay. I was telling a client, coaching client today, I said, yeah, I get recognized a lot when I go out. And when people come up to me, they always pretty much say the same thing. Oh, I've seen you on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And then I don't know what to say to that. They don't always add anything. They just say, oh, I watch you all the time on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks for your support. And then they're kind of expecting me to say something. I never quite know what to say. Do I say thank you? Or it's just kind of awkward. Oh, you're Lisa. You're that parenting lady. Yeah, I am. And cut. It's really awkward. I'm not an awkward person by nature, but I never quite know what to say to that. I'm very rarely ever lost for words, but that throws me off. Yeah, if you come up to me on the street, just say something. Okay. This is from Tabitha Hallett on YouTube. Hey, Lisa, thanks so much for your advice. My 16-month-old is such an amazing toddler now. Just consistent corrective actions. Perfect. Work wonderfully. Been using your tactics since 14 months old. Even with tantrums, she's much more confident and happy now. Excellent. I always say I give the advice, but you do all the work. So pat yourself on the shoulder. Good for you. Take yourself out for ice cream or something. Yeah, you're doing the work. Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome. Okay. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the support. Yeah, that's usually what I say. Oh, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. And then they still stand there. It's like I'm supposed to say something. Oh, my God. It's funny. Well, it's funny to me. Okay. Okay. This is Andrea on Facebook. First of all, thanks for all your great ideas and suggestions. You're welcome. My 2.5-year-old son used to be able to fall asleep alone. 5 months ago, he won't anymore and wakes up in the middle of the night, and we have to go back in his room and stay next to him until he falls asleep again. Okay, is he in a bed or is he in a crib? So if he's loose, you want him to get up. Check out it's going to be ending soon, but you can check out my bedtime battles course if he's in a bed. If not, just sit beside the bed and pretend you're falling asleep. Don't talk to him. In other words, there's no payoff for getting up. You might just go in there. He's 2.5. If he's still in the crib, then you go in there, pat him on the back and say, you're all right, and then leave. Let him scream for 5 minutes and then go back in, you're all right, and then come out again maybe 10 minutes later and keep lengthening the time you go in, but just pat him on the back, you're all right, and then leave. Make it fast. But if he's able to get out of a bed, then check out my bedtime battles course, which will just be in the toddler boot camp course this Saturday. All those mini courses are disappearing as of Saturday. They're all going to be in the boot camp course. And if you've already bought them, you'll still have access to them. Okay. We're just not selling them individually anymore. The reason why I'm doing that, I always kind of knew I would do that, because let's say you buy the tantrum course. You're not getting a big enough picture about what toddlers are about. You're just niching in on tantrums. But the toddler boot camp course sort of explains toddlers in general, so it's just more extensive. Like you just get a better idea of what you're dealing with, basically. Okay. And I'm going to read out my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. The behavior board has changed now too. You get that free on the newsletter if you sign up for that. And now the I got so much stuff on the go right now. The behavior board now has a toddler section. Okay, they can't go on a behavior board, but there's a toddler section included in the free behavior board. Okay, this is my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers. Number 1, child-proof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, when you want to connect with a toddler, you do so in their world, not in your world. You don't go to the nail salon with a toddler, you go to the park and roll down the hill with them. Number 4 is similar. When you want to discipline a toddler, you do so in their world, not your world. And they're not about words, they're about consistent corrective actions. So you've got to be consistent though, because they remember the one time you're not. So pick your battles and just focus on one thing per week. Number 5 is stop trying to figure them out. Toddlers are not figure-outable. They're brand new, fresh human beings. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. Figure that one out. Like they're just forming. They're brand new. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. Like they're just forming. How do I get my 11-year-old to stop complaining? He complains about every task. That's in the attitude department. I don't address that. Why is he complaining? The reason he's complaining, you must answer it. It must annoy you. There's got to be a payback for that. Like if a kid was complaining to me, I'd go, well, whatever. Can't say I enjoyed cleaning all your dirty diapers all those years ago either. So, I just wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't say stop complaining. It must bother you, and he must know that. South Africa, welcome, Fiona, Cape Town. They are starstruck. I hear that a lot, and I'm not a star by any means. But yeah, they do say that. They say, oh, I don't even know what to say. I'm all speechless here. And I don't know what to say either. So we're just standing there like two idiots. Okay. Bed. Oh, he's in a bed. Okay, so then I would look into the Bedtime Battles course. It's a mini course. It's going to be disappearing soon. It's also included in the Toddler Bootcamp course if you want to buy the bigger course. But if you just want to deal with bedtime, I would check out that. It's a whole system. How you get them in bed, then how do you keep them there all night, what you do. It's ugly. It's usually one night of hell. Might stretch into 2 or 3, but it's pretty quick. Your advice has worked, but my 5-year-old has been screaming at me, talking back, and consequences are not working. Any tips? If it was working before, why is it not working now? That doesn't make any sense. You must have momentum, or else you've gone back and relaxed too much. Because if it was working before, it doesn't make any sense that it's not working now, especially at 5. So yeah, have you just sort of loosened up a little bit, not as consistent? Perhaps. I'm not sure. That would be my guess. Tip of the thumb, Michigan. I've actually heard that before, and I looked it up, so I get it now. Arizona, never been there. Arizona, must be great weather there. Although I've heard it's very cold or very hot, nothing much in between. Is that right? Northern Ireland, welcome. I've got a few clients, Irish clients right now. I've got a lot of Jewish clients, and boy, I had no idea there were so many rules with the Jewish religion. So it's just fascinating. I love learning all this stuff about different cultures and religions, and it's wonderful. Okay. How to teach to share toys, 2.5 and 1. Not much you can do with the 1-year-old, but the 2.5-year-old, you just teach them not to grab stuff. Okay. And every time they do, you say no, and you hand the toy back to the 1-year-old. And then you pick up the 2-year-old and just remove them from the situation for a few minutes. It's not timeout because you're with them. Timeout is when you send them off alone in a corner. I hate timeout. I can't stand it. So yeah, just do that consistently. Toronto. Hello, Toronto. How do I change my behavior to improve his attitude? I've tried it all. Well, I don't know how old he is. Check out the boot camp courses. If you want the next level, that would be coaching one-on-one with me. It's all in the link above, but it's a big question. So I just say you have to look at the courses because I don't know what you're doing. Potty training, boy, almost 3. Okay, the potty training course is still available as a standalone course until this Saturday. All those mini courses are going to be eliminated as mini courses, and they're all just going to be in the big boot camp course for toddlers. So now's your opportunity. If you just want to deal with potty training, you can still get that mini course. It's a whole system how I did it. I remember once years ago, I used to do a lot of TV and radio and that. And I went to the morning show, the breakfast TV show here in Vancouver. I used to do that. And just as the parenting expert, people would phone in their questions. There was always a topic. So I said, I'm going to be talking about potty training. I didn't expect them to do this, but they'd gone out and bought a toilet. And they had a brand new, thank God it was a new one. And they had a toilet sitting on the stage. And that was that's what I was on stage with on the TV show. Was a toilet. That, wow, I'm one classy guest. It was funny. Okay. I'll tell you a funny story. The first time I ever did TV, I didn't know anything. It's about 20 years ago. Anyway, I didn't know anything about it. So I turned up and I said, and they do makeup and all that. And I'm nervous as anything. I'm in the green room. And so then I said, well, and then they put you up in the seat and the lights are so bright and it's really weird. So then I said, okay, so if I make a mistake, can you just redo it? And they said, no, it's live. 3. And then they go like that and you're live. So I was so nervous. I thought I was going to poop my pants or something. I was so nervous. So then I was supposed to be done, but I was funny. When I get nervous, I get funny. And so I was funny. They wanted me back. They said, can you stay on? We'll do another segment with you. So I said, sure. Okay. I said, but just film me from the waist up in case I poop my pants. So it all went fine, but I was never that funny again. Turns out I'm not funny when I'm not nervous because I was never nervous again. But I had no idea it was going to be live, and they just started the countdown right away. And they do it like this: 3, 2. Oh, it was awful. Okay. Do you have books on Amazon? No, I've never written a book, or I've never read a book on parenting or kids either. I might write a book one day, but we're just so busy. And we just started our new podcast. My daughter and I are doing it together. So we're doing that. And we're just answering questions, topic related, like they're going to be niche podcasts. It's not like this. It's not like all sorts of, if you want to look up certain thing, it'll all be like just different topics each time. So, and that's just my daughter and I chatting about stuff. It's interesting because she doesn't have any children yet. And she's not the least bit maternal like that. She will have children one day, but it's not her thing. Like, she doesn't know anything about kids really. So she asks questions like you would. So it's quite interesting. So, and I said, well, how do you not know that? And she goes, because I didn't mother me. You did. She doesn't remember how I mothered her at 2 and 12. And you know what I mean? But it's quite interesting. How do you stop a toddler hitting? I do have a mini course on that. They're all going away soon. Those mini courses, they're going to be just included in the bigger course. But I do have one on toddlers who hit. But what you do is use consistent corrective actions. So if they hit, you take that hand that they hit with and you say no. And then you might take a toy away or remove them from the fun or any fun from them. But when I say remove them from the fun, someone said, well, you said you don't like timeout. It's not timeout. Timeout is when they're going alone in a corner. I hate timeout. This is you take them with you. So you just remove them from the fun for a few minutes. But you got to be fast. They have to be able to connect hitting with this consequence, okay? It's consistent corrective actions. They might learn the 50th time. They don't learn fast. They learn slow. Well, they learn very fast if it suits them, by the way. Like if it's something they want. They learn that very fast. But a toddler does not learn something they don't want to learn very fast at all. Or they might learn it, by the way. They do learn it. When a toddler acts out, this is a big misunderstanding. People seem to think that toddlers act out because they don't understand. That is ridiculous. Of course they know they shouldn't hit. It's not a lack of understanding that makes them act out. It's a lack of impulse control. They want to do it, they're going to do it. That's just the way it is. So you use consistent corrective actions because it takes repetition. Eventually, they'll stop doing it. It takes a long time. Sorry, I worded that oddly. Now I have to read what you said because I like oddly stuff. Okay, this is Dusky Rosette on YouTube. I have the 3 to 12 boot camp course, but weekly live sessions are about to start soon. Perfect. That's starting this Saturday. Should I complete week 1? Don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it. Just turn up wherever you are. Okay. Actually, it's probably better to wait because you'll get more information to start with. Better. So should I complete? No, just wait. Just wait. And then you said, I want to work along the lives as the extra accountability will help. Yeah, that's a lot of people do that. Sorry, what did you word oddly? I didn't think that was odd at all. Made sense to me. Anyway, yeah, if you've just bought the boot camp course because you want to get in on those group live sessions, which are starting this Saturday, if you want to get in on that, doesn't matter where you are. Okay. But I will be going through each week, like week 1, I'll be discussing week 1. So if you are going along with us, but it doesn't matter where you are. Sometimes people will turn up and it's interesting to see how people are doing in week 4 or 5, or it could even be someone who did it a year ago. So, and then they turn up and they have different questions, right? So I'm scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer. I totally agree with that and trying to get daycare parents to understand that. What did I say? Understand what? I don't know what I said. I don't hear myself very often because I say the same thing so often. So I don't hear myself a lot. By the way, the podcast is everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Thanks so much for your support with that. It's doing way better than we expected. It's my daughter and I doing it. It's all her. She does all the back end stuff. I'm just the product that she sells. She's on there. She's got all the ideas. That's a client today called me the product because I said, I just had a business meeting with my daughter. She scares me. She's very driven. And, it's hilarious because I'm not at all. So yeah, she's very much in charge of what we do. So she just tells me what we're doing and we do it. But yeah, the podcast has been lots of fun. She's a real sweetheart. If you want to tune up, you'll see my daughter and I talking. And a lot of it, we just go off the forum and just discuss, mother-daughter stuff because she sees the way she was raised a bit differently from what I see it because she was from the child's perspective. So it's quite interesting. What's your alternative to timeout for a 9-year-old who may do something that may require discipline? So discipline should be a consequence. Timeout there's no lesson in that. You just go over there, nose to wall, and you think about what you did wrong. I just think it's mean. I just say, okay, so you did that wrong or whatever, you broke a rule. So here's the consequence. And look, check out the behavior board. It explains how you do that. You have rules and consequences for every member of the family. You're going to do 3 of those boards in 3 weeks. So you're just going to focus on 1 rule for everybody per week. And then by the end of 3 weeks, you'll have 3 rules that you're focused on. And then if you want to know more after that, then that would be the boot camp course. Under the age of 3, it's toddlers. I have a boot camp course on that. And on the free behavior board, there's also a toddler section now. That's brand new. Anyway, what was your question? So it's a consistent corrective action, not a consistent corrective action, not with that age. Anyway, so you have an action, say something like, so they broke a rule. You say, okay, I want you to empty the dishwasher within 15 minutes of being asked to do so. So then you start the timer. Always use timers. 15 minutes starts now. Make the chore just a couple of minutes or a few minutes. But you start the timer because if they broke a rule, then you have them do something good. They did something bad. Now you have them replace it with something good. And you say, okay, so just empty the dishwasher within 15 minutes. It's all explained on the behavior board, by the way. That's free if you sign up for that in the newsletter. And then if they didn't do it, they say, oh, heck with you, and they leave. I don't care what they do. You're just standing there timing. That's all you are as a timekeeper. Once you've started that time, that timer, that's all you're doing. You're just looking at, and then beep, beep, it's all up. They haven't emptied the dishwasher. You go find them and you say, okay, you didn't empty the dishwasher. 24-hour media blackout starts now. And make it happen. I'll do it now. It's too late. You don't have to do it now. 24-hour media blackout started 15 seconds ago. So even if they run and do it, too bad. 24-hour media blackout's already started. It's all explained in the behavior board. Check it out in the link above. Everything I have is in the link above. Okay, Olivia says, how do you potty train a 2-year-old who holds her pee all day? Wow, she's not drinking a lot of water. Well, I would have her drink a lot of water, and I'd put something flavorful in it, like a little bit of orange juice or something, just to get her to drink more, because you want them to drink a lot when you're potty training, a lot. Anyway, check out my potty training course. It's one of my mini courses. They're all going to disappear as of this Saturday. They're all just going to be in the toddler boot camp course. So, but right now you can still get it. It's just one of my mini courses. So you can check that out if you want to know how to potty train. It's a whole system. So. Emily says, the podcast is awesome. Love it so far. You know, the favorite part is I'm working with my daughter and we're doing it together. Like from a mother's perspective, she's my business partner. Imagine working with your kids. She's the driven one in the business. I'm not at all. I love what I do, but I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not driven at all. But oh gosh, she's so driven and very organized, and we're very careful. You know, we really believe in this. Like we're very aware of our messages. We're here to serve you and to set you up as leaders. And she knows exactly what she's doing. It's really good. Okay, Jennifer, how do I get my 5-year-old to stop hitting our dog? Oh, God, you're going to hate me. If you cannot control and stop a child, I would use the behavior board and say no hitting the dog. And if she does, I would come in hard with that. I might even just do 24-hour media blackout right away because I'm an animal lover. And if I couldn't protect an animal in my home, I would rehome them, even just temporarily if you have to. There's no way I would tolerate that. So yeah, I would literally, if I couldn't have protected my animals, like I had rules with my kids, they weren't allowed to pick up the dog and they weren't allowed to run past the bird cage because it would frighten the bird. So, and they never did, they just knew. But if I couldn't control that, I would have rehomed my pets for sure. Yeah, you can't subject an animal to abuse. How do you do the rotation? The toy rotation system, you just box up all their toys and have 5 of them out. A good way, as they get old, like do it when they go to bed. But as they get older, they're going to be on to you. So I would maybe buy them something new to start it off with. Hey, we've got a new system coming out once a week. We'll rotate your toys, but we're going to start you off with something new. You know, and you can get them to put all the toys in boxes and then they'll get the new toy. So yeah, and then maybe once a week you can either have them take out 5 toys, but if you don't think they'll be able to manage that without having a fit, you just do it when they go to bed. You just take out 5 toys, put the other 5 away. But if they're still playing with a toy, don't put that one away. But the ones that they haven't been playing with, you can put that away. And also Christmas is coming up. Perfect time to do this. You know, those toys, those things that they open and they go, oh, okay, and they throw it aside, grab it and put it away. They won't remember they got that at Christmas, but in March, it's going to be like Christmas all over again. They're going to get the lesser fun toys, but it's still a new toy in March, right? Anyway, I got to move over to Instagram if you want to join me over there. Otherwise, check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board. It has toddler section on there now too. And you can look at my mini courses. They are all going to be ending this Saturday. They're just going to be included in the toddler boot camp course. And then you also have a 3 to 12-year-old boot camp course, or you can look into coaching with me. You have to do an intake form, and that's one-on-one coaching. It's all done on Google Meet. And yeah, anyway, that's my favorite thing in my business is coaching. I just love it. Anyway, it's all about me, talking about me. I love coaching. Anyway, you can check that out. That's if you want to go next level. That's after the boot camp courses. Coaching is the next level. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Nope, that's it. Okay, I'm heading over to Instagram now, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where all my lives are saved. Happy parenting. Look at me. I'm not even late. I'm usually late for Instagram because I get yabbering and forget. Okay. Instagram. I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. Well, besides media blackout, what are some other consequences? Just take a favorite toy away. Something that they play with every single day, you can take that away. But never take away something comforting, like a favorite doll or a favorite teddy or something like that. But yeah, just take it. That's the second consequence, though. The first consequence on the behavior board is a positive action. If they won't do that, then just do a negative deprivation. You take something away. Okay, welcome, Instagram. My name's Lisa. If you're new here, if you're not, welcome back. And anyway, check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my 2 boot camp courses, one for toddlers and one for 3 to 12-year-old, and you can look into coaching. All those mini toddler courses are disappearing this Saturday. They're just going to be included in the toddler course. Okay. And we've got our podcast now. My daughter and I are doing a podcast together. It's going really well. Thanks so much for your support there. I don't know how to listen to podcasts because I never know who I'm listening to. I've got my phone in my pocket and I never have a clue who I'm listening to. It's the weirdest thing. I'm useless at podcasts, but it's fun to do. But anyway, so yeah, the podcasts are out now. We've got some on toddler tantrums. That's a popular one. Actually, that's our most popular one. And then next popular is what is leadership parenting. And then we've got one on managing sibling rivalry. Another one on navigating consequences as a parent. And then today we just released aggressive toddler behavior, understanding and managing. That's lots of fun. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. Welcome. Okay, your son is 1. When do I start disciplining? Really, you're just teaching them right from wrong until they're about 16 months old. By that time, they start to get it. They kind of know hitting is wrong. They know it a little bit before, but it's kind of a gray area. I say about 16 to 35 months to me as a toddler. That's when under that, you're just teaching them right from wrong. So you just, if they hit, you just grab their hand, you just say no, and then you just sort of ignore, but you never say no so that they cry. So yeah, you just want to start letting them know what you will and won't accept. But yeah, the real discipline starts at 16 months. That's when you start with consistent corrective actions. So if they hit, I would be taking them away from the fun or the fun away from them. So yeah, 16 months that kicks in. A little bit of a gray area, but it's not after 16 months. They can all start to learn that after, but it might be 14, 15 months. Yeah, if he's whining, you just ignore that stuff. You might redirect. You redirect with little ones. So yeah, he's whining for something. You don't give it to him. And you just say, ooh, what's this book? Ooh, the fox jumped over the moon. I don't know. Oh, look at that. So you're sort of indirectly redirecting. You don't say, let's read a book. That's rewarding for the whining. But if you just go off sort of on your own and sit down on the floor and start reading his favorite book, you're redirecting, but you're not rewarding. There's a difference there. Okay, it might be subtle, but there is a difference there. But if he said, you want to read a book when he's whining? He's like, whining gets me a book. But he doesn't connect it the same way if you're just off in a corner reading. He'll just come over and crawl in your lap while you see that? Does that make any sense? Okay. Oh, thanks, Tabitha. I really appreciate that. It's just complimenting me. I won't read that out loud. Okay, I will. No, I won't. Why do I crack myself up? Oh, God, my daughter and I got the giggles so bad the other night. We went out the other night, and oh, my God, to the point where, I'm older. It was my birthday weekend. I'm 64 now. And yeah, I got the giggles so bad. I thought for sure. I thought I probably should be wearing diapers at this age. Yeah, it almost got real ugly. Is your podcast on Spotify? Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's on everywhere. It's Apple Podcast. It's on YouTube if you want to watch us, my daughter and I. Yeah, it's everywhere you can find a podcast, I think. It's on our website too, BratBusters.com. That's in the link above. You can see it there too. Okay, I'm just scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here while I answer. Because I always think, I only got like a couple hundred people in a live, but really people come and go. So by the time I finish the live, there might have been 5,000 people in it, but they come and go. So that's why I keep scrolling ahead just to make sure you're still here. 16-month-old hits herself and throws her body. Yeah, you just physically restrain her. They do that. They're nuts. They don't understand concussions and all that. So yeah, they're just going to throw themselves on the ground. They like to throw themselves backwards a lot too. I don't know why that is. But anyway, yeah, they like to go woo, and they just be prepared for it and grab her. But don't look at them or talk to them. You're just physically restraining them to keep them safe. If they hurt themselves, someone else, or damage property, you physically restrain them, but you still don't talk to them or look at them. You ignore tantrums. You have to ignore. You never validate a tantrum, or they will keep getting worse and worse and worse. Happy birthday from Excelsior Mountain. Thank you, Montana. Yeah, I turned 64. It was kind of a nothing age. 65 is a big one. That's next year. But I like being in my 60s. Didn't think I would, but I really like it. Okay. Curious to know what your thoughts are on Jonah. Oh, I don't critique other people. I don't know. I don't look at anyone else. I'm all a kid taught. So yeah, I don't critique other people. By using your methods with my toddler, and I truly think it's great, but oh my goodness, what do you do to keep calm after the millionth time? Yeah, some of my clients say they use alcohol. I don't condone that, but yeah, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I never did. But you want to connect with them too. So when they are calm, then you try and read a book or try and do something with them. But yeah, it's not easy. I'm not saying it is, but everything's temporary, especially with little ones. They're just crazy when they're little, right? You got to put the ages down or else I can't answer. I need to know an age. Physically restrain them like a bear hug. No, if they're hitting or something, you just hold them. You kind of hold them. I used to teach this a lot more. You hold them here and here, just between the shoulder and the elbow, and you hold them down, both facing the same way, you and them, down on the ground. You just hold them like that. It's very hard for them to headbutt, bite, or kick you in that position. So you're just holding them down there. There's no eye contact or anything. You're just keeping them safe. That's all. That's all. Five-year-old doesn't listen to me when we're out in public. That says to me that you're different when you're out in public, because it makes it sound like they do listen to you when you're in private at home. So it sounds like you're a different parent when you're out. You got to make sure you're the same parent. I was the exact same mother no matter where we were, for sure. You got to be predictable. I was 100% predictable. My kids knew what I do every single time, every single day. I was 100% predictable. Guaranteed. They knew. So yeah. And I don't know what they're not listening to though. So I don't quite know what you mean by that. But yeah, that says to me, if you label when you're out in public, it says that you're different when you're out in public. That's why they're different. This one's a tough one, and I'm going to tell you why. Any tips on how to cut a 3-year-old's toenails without getting kicked? No, I don't. Because I don't know if you're tickling them. I would be more inclined to wrap their foot up in a towel, have them put their hands around it, and then I'd come in behind them sort of from behind, and then I would have them put their hand on the clippers. They might be extremely ticklish. So yeah, if you wrap their foot up so they can't be tickled, you're not just holding it with your cold fingers or whatever, wrap it up in a towel, have them hold that, the other hand, they're holding your hand with the clipper in it. So they're part of the process. That's a weird question, but I get it. Like what I mean, I've never been asked that before. Interesting. Oops, sorry. Oh, yes. Tabitha says, I said be consistent, 100% consistent. Tabitha's not new here. She said, except on an airplane, you're a pleaser parent, 100%. When they're on a plane, there's no way I would put a plane full of people through a tantrum. I would never do that. I give my kids if they're whatever they want on a plane. The second we deboard, back to the old mom. But yeah, on a plane, I give them whatever they want to keep them quiet and happy. I would never put a plane full of people, you're like smashed into a little bottle together, right? I would never put other people through that. So yeah, give them whatever they want. Good call, Tabitha. That's a good point. Do you provide in-person coaching? Oh, no, I don't do in-person, not at all. No. Okay. I think people think that I want to meet their kids too. That's not what I do at all. Meeting your children doesn't help at all. And they just get in the way. I'm teaching parenting here. So yeah, there's nothing that in-person would do. It actually gets in the way. It's distracting. And plus it's travel it's not worth it for me. So yeah, no, I don't do that at all. I did it, I think once in 17 years now I've been doing this. I did it once and I realized there was no benefit. The kids were interrupting constantly. There was no benefit whatsoever. Even if there are no kids around, there's no benefit. It's just as good on video. And then I'm not going anywhere. I'd have to charge you double or triple. You know what I mean? Like to get out and do it. Okay. Okay. Good question. Comes up a lot. How about a child who has not yet said a coherent word and is turning 4 in December? How do I help him get further than the adults with serious problems with a genetic condition? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I can't answer that. I'm not a doctor. I can't answer that. So I don't know. But what I do get a lot is my child isn't speaking at 3 or barely at 4 either. It's not always a problem. Like what I mean is, I always say see a pediatrician or a speech pathologist, yes, but some kids don't really talk much until they're 3 or 4. So that's quite common. My son never shut up. He came out of the womb talking. Oh, hello, mother. He just talked from day one. My daughter, not so much. So they're all different, right? The first thing I said to my son when he's my firstborn, that was almost 35 years ago. He comes out. Now, I always saw myself as having girls, by the way. I saw myself as nothing but a girl mom. I just did. It's just the way it is. So, I just thought I was having a girl. So anyway, he pops out after 18 excruciating hours. Anyway, he comes out and I said, hi, sweetie. And then they lifted him up to put him on me. And I said, the second thing I said to my son when he was born was, oh, my daughter has testicles. Turns out it was a boy. Okay, you have to put the ages down or I can't answer. And you have to put the whole question plus the age because I get so many questions. I don't know which question you're putting the age for. Almost 3-year-olds saying no or be quiet when told something runs. You just take action. You make sure you're ready to take action. Time to go. Make sure you're ready to go and get them. When you say time to go, we're getting in the car now, and they say no when they run, you go get them and you put them in the car. Follow up that no with an action. Time to have a bath. Be ready to pick them up and put them in the tub. Be ready to do that. So. My 4-year-old's rebellious, doesn't pay attention, and doesn't sit at one place when I tell him to focus on writing. He's distracted. I don't know what's going on there. I would check out, if I were you, because I don't know what's going on. I can't really answer that. I would check out the boot camp course for 3 to 12-year-olds. It teaches you how to be a leader, and that kind of helps them how to learn how to focus. When they've got a leader, they tend to settle down. And yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't let anyone else in my lives ever. I only did it once. It was a disaster. They just wanted to talk about their business. I was horrified. And I was brand new. That was a couple of years ago. I didn't know how to get rid of them. And they're just talking about, they're trying to sell they wanted my audience to sell their business. Well, sell their stuff too. It's so funny. Not funny. I hated it. Okay. I'm in the UK, very sleepy. I mean, he will have the condition forever. He may never speak. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. If you want Thank you for bearing with me. Firstly, I've come across with actual parenting advice from the view of the children. Yeah, every piece of advice I give you is for what the child needs, not from what you want to do. And I know the pleaser parent style is all about pleasing the parents. It's not about the kids at all. I'm all about the kids and what they need from you. That's all I'm ever thinking. So I often tell you to do stuff that doesn't seem to make any sense and you don't want to do. Like especially when I'm coaching, and I'll say, just do it. It's for the kids, right? They get it and they do. Okay. Okay, that would be if you want me to help you with that or potentially add some tips along the way. And I'm sure you've done sign language and stuff like that. I'm just talking to someone here. You might want to look into coaching because that would be more, obviously, I delve into it and assess the situation and potential. Because I teach parent-child relationships. So it doesn't really matter what's going on with your child, whether or not they have some challenges or, some kind of disability or whatever. It doesn't matter because I still focus on your relationship with your child. So however it's happening. Okay. I love your podcast. Thanks so much. My daughter's on there with me. So that's just pure joy to work with she's my business partner. And, but she's more behind the scenes and it was her idea to do the podcast. She does all the planning. I don't have a clue. I have no say in what we're going to do in the business. Thank God I hate all that stuff. I'm very much a follower in my personal life. Very much. No one believes that, but I am. I'm only a leader with kids. Anyway, she loves leading and she's in charge. She could do a podcast. She goes, I need someone to read the questions to you. So I'm going to do it with you. I just about died because she hates being in front of the camera. So yeah, she's doing it with me. I couldn't believe she said she's going to do it with me and she's doing it. Okay. She was a guest in another podcast too. She posted it today. She was a guest in another podcast too. She was my daughter. Oh, me. I was. Yeah. That was the Man Talks podcast. Yeah. My daughter didn't do that. I did that. He was such a nice young guy. It was really funny because he's in New York now. His name's Connor, I think. And from Man Talks. And he lives in Vancouver too. He's from Vancouver, right near where we live, like virtually like a few steps away. So next time he's in Vancouver, we'll get together for coffee. Really nice young guy. He's got kids and that. Yeah, if you want to look that one up, it's, I don't know where it is. I don't know where my daughter put it, but it's called Man Talks. The podcast is Man Talks. And we just talk about parenting. It's interesting because I don't do a lot of interviews. Like I just don't like doing them. But my daughter said, yeah, do it. And he seems like a nice guy and, et cetera. So she vets everything. And she told me to do that one, but he was such a nice guy. And, but yeah, it's about men. He talks about men's issues. So he was talking about parenting through the dad's perspective. So it was really cute. And he knows a lot. He studies everything. He's a smart young guy. Okay. Two-year-old cry whenever we go to a gathering. Yeah, they're going to do that. Just wait it out. Wait it out. So they're hanging around you, won't leave your side. Yeah, don't worry about it. We just make strange. It's called making strange. That's what I call it anyway. They just get all shy. Don't worry about it. They'll outgrow it. It's one of those things. Just go, yeah, they're just weird. Like if my kids did that, one of my kids was more inclined to do that. Can't even remember which one. But yeah, I just say, they're just nuts. And there was always some other kid hanging on to their mother too. Yeah, they outgrow this stuff. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff, okay? Everything with a toddler is small stuff. Thoughts on the Montessori method. I don't critique other stuff like that, but I don't have an opinion on it anyway. It's a personal choice. Do you like it? It's like religion. It's a personal choice. Do you like Montessori? Do you like homeschooling? Do you like private school? Do you like Catholic school? Do you like, public school? It's a personal choice. I don't have any opinions on it. And I don't. I know what I would do, but it's not a professional answer. It's just my own personal opinion. That's all. How do you remove the fun from a 2-year-old to correct behaviors? Okay, so if they're playing with something, you just take a toy away. And you might go, if they do something you don't like, there must be a toy nearby and you say no, and then you put that toy wherever they can see it. Do something that kind of hurts them that they don't like. Do you know what I mean? Not physically. You know what I'm talking about. Don't get all caught up in that. Yeah, just take something away that they like. Say no, and then take a favorite toy away. There's got to be a quick, consistent corrective action. It's got to be fast. They got to connect it with what they just did. And don't discuss bad behavior. There's no point whatsoever. Do you consider your methods gentle parenting? No, not at all. I teach my own style. I call it leadership parenting. Funny thing is, a lot of other people are starting to teach my methods now too. I invented this stuff. So some are giving me credit. Some aren't. That's okay, as long as they're getting the message out. Unfortunately, they're not teaching it exactly the way I would. But anyway, I invented it. I call it leadership parenting. Yeah, you give respect to get it. You're accountable too. As a leader, you're accountable too. If I messed up, I was in trouble too. My kids would go, Mom, you messed up. I'd say, what do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park tomorrow. I'd say, fine, let's go. So yeah, I was very accountable. That's what a leader is. And you lead with fun. You've got to, do you have a YouTube? Yeah, I'm on YouTube right now. I do my lives on YouTube also. So it's called BratBusters Parenting. That's my smallest platform, is YouTube. And then, so it's YouTube. Now you got about 20,000 there. And then Facebook's about, I think, 280. And then Instagram's about 500,000. And then TikTok's my big one. But yeah, so Facebook, or TikTok, YouTube, because it's my smallest platform, I'm most likely to see your questions on there. So, and it was funny, the first time I said that, I said, go on YouTube, I'll answer all your questions on there. And I completely forgot and never even looked at it because YouTube's over there. It's on a different screen. So I said, go on YouTube, I'll answer all your questions. I never even looked at it once for that whole live. That could not be more me than, I can't even explain how me that is. It's stupid. Dopey. There you go. Dopey. 2-year-old spitting. Can I make something so my twins, boy and girl, stop? 2-year-old. 2 years old. I'm assuming they're both 2 years old. No, there's not much you can do with spitting. That's what you kind of ignore it, but they probably don't like their face wiped. I would make a big production out of that. I would get a face wipe and I'd make sure I had one nearby and I'd say no. And then I calmly just wipe their face and they're like that. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't rub it so it's raw, red raw, but you know what I'm saying. They don't usually like having their faces wiped. Boy, would I ever wipe their face every time they spit. Ooh, and there's another little spot there. Ooh. Okay, I have a potty training course if you're interested. It's all my mini courses are going to be gone as of this Saturday. They're all just going to be lumped into my boot camp course for toddlers. That was always sort of going to happen because I had a whole bunch of mini courses, and then now they're just good. They're all in the boot camp course for toddlers. And then we're just going to get rid of the mini ones. The reason is you're not getting a lot of toddler context around each of those individual things. So a lot of times people would get those little mini courses and they'd think the tantrum course would answer all their toddler problems, but they don't. So they would ask me all these other questions that really, you needed more context. So you're not getting the same results that I would like. So anyway, that's why we did that. So if you want the potty training course, you can get that as a mini course right now if you're interested. If not, it will just be in the boot camp course for toddlers. Everything I have is in the link above. What do you think of my pictures? My daughter and I had a painting party and did some artwork. I know it's horrible, but is it that bad? It's those lines. It looked really good, but I had to keep correcting it. And I don't know, it looks kind of like slugs or something now. Anyway, we had so much fun doing that. And we kept saying, oh, I get it why people charge so much for art. This is hard. That was not my idea, the colors. I was just going to do green and white because I'm very bland. But my daughter said, no, you want some pop. So that's got lots of pop. Okay. How many times should I ask my 3-year-old to take off his shoes? He knows how. Oh, geez. No, I would just put on the behavior board, take off your shoes within 10 minutes of arriving. Take off and put your shoes away within 10 minutes of arriving home. Something like that. And then if he doesn't, there's a consequence. I don't ask kids to do stuff they know they should do. There's no way I would do that. Just put it on a behavior board, or else just say, from now on, put your shoes away. And then when they don't, I don't nag. I don't remind them. And then I might, if they didn't do it, I'd say, oh, by the way, you didn't put your shoes away. So what I'm going to get you to do is you're going to help me with the laundry tonight. You're going to help me with whatever. There's a consequence. Okay. They can either choose to do the right thing or they can choose to have a consequence. It's their choice. Everything's up to them. Everything. I used to say to my kids, if you're good, life is good. If you're bad, life won't be so good. I'll make sure of that because I'm your mom and that's my job. So yeah, I just taught them that you make good choices, your life will be great. If you don't, I'll make sure it isn't that hot. I'll come in with a consequence. And it empowers them too, because they know it's their choice. And I used to say to my kids, well, it's all up to you how your life goes. It's your choice. Totally your choice. And they like that. It empowers them. My goal was not to have obedient soldiers that did what I said. My goal was to have kids with high self-esteem who make good choices. That was always my goal. high self-esteem, they like themselves, and they make good choices. They have something to be proud of because they're making good choices. I don't want to be telling kids what to do. I hate doing that. I don't want to be a nag. I'm not going to read that question out. I'm getting in big trouble for that one. Everyone's going to wonder which question I'm ignoring now. It's the one on Instagram. Okay, I'm looking at YouTube now. How can I help a 7-year-old who's afraid to talk in front of his class? I remember getting up. I think I was in grade, I don't know. I wasn't that young. I was in grade 9. And I had to get up and read a project I'd done. When I was finished, the teacher said to me, okay, can you please read that all again, but slow it down so we can understand you? So embarrassed. Here's what you do. You do role playing. Anything social like bullying or public speaking or how to make friends, you role play at home. Say, okay, practice in front of me, then I'll get up and I'll practice in front of you. We'll record you and then you can watch it. So the more that they practice, it's like anything like that. Anytime you're out in public, you practice it at home and then it's easier when you're out. But it's still, what do they say? Public speaking is the second biggest fear that people have. Public speaking is number 1, death is number 2. It's the biggest fear people have. Okay. So then Seinfeld said that. And he said, so in other words, you'd rather be the one in the casket rather than the one doing the eulogy. Okay. What's a behavior board? That's in the link above, and the parents are on it too. That's what's different about that behavior. I invented that, and I know other people are teaching that now too. Parents have to be on the behavior board to be a leader. A leader is also accountable. They're watching you. You're showing them how all this is done. That when you make a mistake, there's no shame in it. Just be accountable for your mistakes, right? Should the behavior board always be positive on the behavior board? Should the behavior board always be positive on the behavior? I don't quite know what you mean by that, but the behavior board is a rule and a consequence for everybody. The kids have 2 consequences. There's only 1 rule per behavior board for everybody, but the kids have 2 consequences. The first one is a positive action. You get them to do something positive. That if they won't do it, then you resort to the negative deprivation. You take something that they like away, like 24-hour media blackout, something like that. So you start with the positive action. It's up to them if they do it. I don't care if they do it. It's up to them. If they won't do it, then you do the negative deprivation. Do you make kids follow the consequence that was given a few days ago, but we were super busy and didn't get to? No, that's on you. That's on you. Yeah. You know what I would do? I like to just up this and give you even more leadership skills. Say, you know what? We messed up. We had that consequence. We didn't even follow through. So we've got to make it up to you for messing that up. We messed up. So we're going to take you out for ice cream tonight. Why would I say that? Why would I do this with clients and coaching all the time? You mess up that behavior board, you make it up, you make amends. It's your responsibility to follow through with that. You're showing them that you're a leader. And talk about relationship building. You take them up for ice cream, do something fun with them. Say, yeah, we messed up. We didn't get that done. So we had to get it done. So, we can't do it a few days later. That's ridiculous. So we're going to take you out for ice cream because we messed up. Yeah, it's leadership. It's accountability. It's respecting them. Kids feel respected. If they feel respected, they're much more likely to respect you. You give respect to get it. No one's commented on my paintings yet. Not that I've seen anyway. They're pretty horrendous. I know they're horrendous, but I did make them myself, so it's embarrassing. Oh, God. Okay, where do I find the behavior board? Everything I have is in the link above. It's at BratBusters.com. There's a whole bunch of people impersonating me right now. So we've tried to shut some down, but we can't. They just closed down and opened up shop somewhere else. But my website is BratBusters.com. And it's in the link above. That link above is me. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people out there pretending to be me now because you get a big following. You're going to get that. And they're taking money off parents and they're not delivering anything. So isn't that frustrating? But I can't shut them down. I can't go all over the world shutting these people down. I tell my kids what they did wrong for why they're getting in trouble. Then I immediately ask what I just said. And she says, I don't know. Should I bother? So why are you doing all that? I don't. That's the mini therapy sessions. Don't do that. Don't discuss bad behavior. Just say, oh, you broke the rule. Here's the consequence. Why are you doing all that? What's the point? Discussing bad behavior. I've never seen a point in doing that, ever. Just deal with it. Say, that was bad, that you broke a rule. Here's the consequence. No big deal. No anger, nothing. All these therapy sessions discussing all this is just, it's kind of berating and bullying and shaming. I'm not saying you're doing that, but I'm just exaggerating to make my point. Is listening a rule? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. It's like saying be good is the rule. No. Besides, why would they listen to a non-leader? You got to earn that. You got to earn that respect. You're just demanding it. You got to command it. You got to earn it. You got to work just like I did. You got to work for it. Don't just expect it. You listen to me. That's an order. I don't do that at all. Yeah. Can't do that. When did you become passionate about teaching parents and realize you're good at it? Well, thanks for saying I'm good at it. Anyway, I'll tell you my history. And a lot of people have asked my advice on how to become a parenting coach. And all I do is tell my story. Like, I'm wondering if you want to be a parenting coach. I tell my story because there's decades went into this. Okay. It's not something you can learn in a year or even 10 years, or maybe you could learn it in 20. Anyway, I was 11 years old. And I started volunteering in daycare centers. I was good at it. I was good at getting respect with kids even back then. I just kind of intuitively knew. I understood kids. I just knew how to do it. So then I was going to be a child psychologist. I hated what they were teaching. It was so patronizing and stupid. Anyway, they kicked me out because I asked too many questions. Thank God. It just wasn't for me. I'm sure that they're better now, but this is back in 1980. So anyway, that was 53 years ago. I started volunteering in daycare centers. And then I went to schools, hospitals, detention centers, homes. I got clearance in the government, and I was always just mentoring kids and helping their parents out. And then I was mentoring troubled teenagers, and they're the ones who said, Lisa, you got to teach this, because it was just all volunteer work. That's all I was doing. I loved it. It was just a passion of mine. And then they said, you got to teach this stuff. And so they're the ones who told me to do it. So, I was kind of just almost pushed into it in a way. Yeah. So if other people are telling you to do it, you kind of know, especially the kids. I don't listen to adults. I listen to kids. If anything to do with parenting, I don't listen to adults. It's kids taught me all this. I learned all this out in the field. I figured kids out, and I know what they need. And I know exactly what they need. And I just do. They need what we need. They need to feel loved, respected, heard, and they need to have fun. It's all the same stuff we need. But I know how to give it to them at all their different levels. I specialize in teenagers, but I think if you have a calling, but there are two criteria. If you want to be a parenting coach and you have young kids, I don't know how you would do it, but I guess you could just teach potty training or something. But the big picture, you need to know where you're going, because a lot of what you're doing with little kids will backfire down the road. You got to know where you're ending up. It's kind of like if you haven't finished the job with your own kids, it's kind of like teaching giving financial advice with $10 in the bank. You have to know where you're going. Plus, you have to have worked with hundreds of other kids, because I didn't learn much with my own kids. It was all the other kids I worked with. And I never worked with easy kids. They were all ADHD, WXYZ. I called them alphabet kids. They were all challenging. And I just loved doing it. So yeah, it definitely was a calling for me. But I just kind of got thrown into it. It just happened. Just 17 years ago. So I was in my 50s. No, I would have been in my 40s when I started this business. Anyway, the paintings are great. Yeah, aren't they goofy looking? I'm so bad at that. It's so not me. But anyway, it's kind of embarrassing. But I have no pride or dignity. What do I care? Okay. Bob Ross would be so proud, but you're missing a tree, young lady. Oh my God. I remember watching him back would have been in the 80s when he first became big, and it was ASMR, and I didn't even know what that was. And it was on a Sunday afternoon, and I'd usually gone out late the night before, and I'd be on the couch watching Bob Ross trying to stay awake. I can remember that. And you could see through his hair because it was so thin. It was this big frizz like a dandelion. You could see through it. Such a nice guy. Okay. Do you braid your hair yourself? Of course I do. Okay. Thank you for exaggerating that point. Yeah, I have to exaggerate to get my point across. It's just the way I operate. I'm an extreme person. I either love something or I hate it, but I'm not opinionated usually. So if I say, oh, I hate that, and my daughter often says, well, give it a go. You might like it. Okay. I'm very quick to change. But yeah, I tend to exaggerate everything. It's just my style. Oh, shoot, I'm late. I got to go over to TikTok. Check out the link above. You can see my free behavior board, my big boot camp courses. The mini ones are going away this weekend. And remember, we've got the live Q&A with the boot camp courses. Those live Q&A group coaching sessions are starting this Saturday. And also group coaching with me one-on-one. If you want that, that's all linked above. And our podcast also. Thanks for joining me. I'm heading over to TikTok, and I'm on YouTube the whole time. That's where I save all my lives. Happy parenting. Good grief. Come on. It's taking forever. Okay. God, that was a lot of buttons. Okay, I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. I just got to give my voice a break. I talk a lot. This is Bailey on YouTube. Other consequences for 3-year-old beside media blackouts. Check out my boot camp course. Not my boot camp. My free behavior board. It's in the description on YouTube, and it's in the bio here on profile on TikTok. And it will have some other alternatives in there. So it's just an easier way to go. Oh, this is Lisa. Whenever we discipline my 5-year-old, he says, I'm the worst, I'm horrible, or I'm going to run away. Do we try to console him? And no, he's just trying to manipulate you. If he says those things when he's happy, then I'd worry. He'll say anything to get you to give him any attention. So if you've just disciplined him, you say, okay, so you're going to do that. I'm horrible. I said, whatever. Okay. Like I just completely ignore that. I would acknowledge that I've heard him, but let him know. No, alrighty then. That's how he's just trying to pull you in. He's going like this. I'm horrible. Everybody hates me. I'm horrible. I'm awful. Nobody loves me. Alrighty then. And I'm going to go do the dishes now. You see? Do not get pulled in. He's manipulating you. But if he says that when you're on Dumbo at Disneyland, right, then I might be concerned. But yeah, he's just trying to pull you in. He's our deep feeler of the family, and I'm afraid I'm hurting his self-esteem. You're not hurting his self-esteem when he's trying to manipulate you. That's all that's about. That's it. That's all he's doing. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But that's my advice. So. Well, you got to put an age or I can't answer. Anyway, welcome to TikTok. My name's Lisa, so welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Check out the link above. You can get my free behavior board, my big boot camp courses. You can look into private coaching one-on-one with me. Also, our podcast is new. It's just come out a few weeks ago. And all the mini toddler courses are disappearing soon. They're going to be gone this Saturday, so now's your chance to get them if you want them. There's one on tantrums, toddlers who hit, potty training, and bedtime battles. And all that's included in the boot camp course anyway, all those mini courses. Yeah, they're going away this Saturday. Anyway, what else was I going to say? I think that was it. Okay, let's get going. And when you put an age, you have to put it with the question because I'm not going to go back fishing for the question. So anyway, okay, so let me see here. How can I handle my 6-year-old just staring at me when I ask him to do simple things? So I would say, oh, can you hand that over there? And he doesn't do it. I would just go over and get it. And I'll say, okay, so now let me think. Now, what would that be? No, I won't do it that way. Let's say you got a 6-year-old and you say something to him and he doesn't do it. Let's say it's something consistent. And he won't, he won't put his dishes in the dishwasher, whatever it is. I would put that on the behavior board and say, put dishes in you got to pick your battles here. Put your dishes in the dishwasher within 10 minutes of finishing the meal, whatever. And if he doesn't, that's just an example. If he doesn't do it, there's a consequence. So rather than telling him to do the obvious things, or if you just say, can you hand me that? And if he doesn't, then just say, and then you get up and you take it and say, oh, we'll discuss this later. And then later on, I would say, I'll tell you what, next time I ask you to hand me something, if you don't, there'll be a consequence. So that could be off the behavior board. So yeah, there's got to be a consequence, but you got to sort of set that up ahead of time. And it's total lack of respect. It's sort of a tell. It tells me that he doesn't respect you. That's why he's doing that. So you got to work on your leadership skills. Check out my boot camp course. Teaches you how to be a leader, 3 to 12 years old. The toddler boot camp course is more about when this comes up, what do you do? It sort of explains toddlers, and they're not figure-outable. They're brand new human beings. So it's set up quite differently. The boot camp, it is setting you up as a leader, but it doesn't really cement in until you're at least 3 years old. Then they can start to understand leadership a bit more. But you are setting yourself up for leadership in the toddler course, but it doesn't really kick in until they're about 3. Oh, when can they teach no? When do they understand? My 9-month-old grabs everything. My granddaughter's 9 months old. Yeah, you just say no, and then you pull her away from it and redirect. You redirect babies. They don't understand this stuff yet. So you just say no, and you pull her away, and then give her something else. You redirect with a 9-month-old, and you just give them something else to do. You just move them around. So yeah, my granddaughter, she's just 9 months old. And it's interesting watching from a grandmother's perspective too, because I'm sort of removed a bit more. It's different because I'm not with her 24/7. And but yeah, every time I see her, you can just see her personality coming out. She's a very cautious little girl, which is a wonderful thing. She'll stop and think before she does anything. So she should hopefully not be falling off things a lot. You know what I mean? Getting into stuff. She's very cautious, which is a wonderful quality. It's the ones who just go after everything without thinking. They're a bit more scary because they're going to, get hurt potentially. Yeah, it's fun watching. Having a hard time with my 5-year-old at school with his new teacher. He's being defiant. His teacher says, that's a tell. It means you're not a leader at home. You fix the at-home front. And then now there's 2 reasons why this is happening. Usually 2 reasons. Either the teacher, a few reasons. Something might have happened at school that's upset him. That doesn't sound like it. Or the teacher isn't a leader, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on at school. You've got to be a leader at home. And then when they go out in the world by 5 years old, if you're a leader at home, they're going to be polite everywhere they go. Okay. It also says that potentially everything goes his way at home. Do you give in to him a lot? So he expects to get his own way at home. So you're not a leader. That's what I'm guessing. Work on your leadership skills. You might want to check out my boot camp course, or you might want to look into hiring me for coaching. You want to set yourself up as a leader. Because when you're a leader at home, they take that everywhere with them, and they treat everyone well because they become the identity that they are with the leader. The leader is the most influential person in their life because the leader is the one that increases their self-esteem. They like themselves the most when they're with the leader because you give them something to be proud of. Good behavior is something to be proud of. By the way, I specialize in teenagers. If you have teenagers and you're watching this, ask questions. That's what I'm here for. Oh, how sweet. Elisa. Oh, I know your name. Okay. Thank you. I love your lives. I always tell my husband I'm going to talk to my best friend, Lisa. Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks for that. It's interesting because whenever I get new coaching clients, they turn up and they're just getting younger and younger and younger. Like a lot of them are younger than my kids now. And some of my clients now, their parents were my clients years ago. That's just full circle. Isn't that bizarre? Separation anxiety, that's a temporary thing they'll go through. 9 months old, though, they could go through that for a long time, but you make the goodbye as short as possible. And they're only 9 months old. They don't understand what's going on. They're going to cry. Not always, but if they have separation anxiety, they're just going to cry. So when you're leaving, when you have a child or a baby who has separation anxiety, make the exit as fast as possible, like pulling off a Band-Aid. Don't make it a big deal. At 9 months old, I'd probably even sneak out. They're not going to remember their goodbye anyway. I'd probably even sneak out because they don't know if you're still in another room or something. It's okay. But when you're leaving older kids, dropping them off somewhere, you say, okay, I'll see you later, and then walk out. Cheery as anything. And then when you come back and pick them up, don't make it a big deal. Just, okay, let's go. We're going to go do some shopping first. You don't make a big scene out of the hello or the goodbye, because then they think it's a big deal. So they make it like it's no big deal. And by the way, it takes 3 to 6 weeks often for them to get over that. And if they ever do, but they shouldn't make as big a scene as time goes on. Five-year-old seems to understand what he's doing wrong. We talk to him a ton at home. Do you discuss bad behavior? I don't discuss bad behavior at all. What's the point? They understanding what they shouldn't do doesn't make them not do it. It's the consequences and the pride that stops them from doing naughty things. It's not understanding. We all understand we shouldn't speed down the freeway. Do we still speed? Understanding stuff doesn't make you not do it. Or you see what I mean? It's the consequences. So, and the pride. Like, I'd be embarrassed to be pulled over, you know? So, yeah. Okay, good question. I get asked this a lot. How do you get away from reward once they are potty trained? My 3-year-old, we trained late, 3 years old. She's fully potty trained now, but she still asks for treat. Just say that's only for little kids. Now that you're a big girl, we're not going to be giving those treats anymore. Make sure she's fully potty trained though. And you could wean her off them. If this chocolate chips, I think I bought mini chocolate chips. I didn't like any garbage for my kids. That was a real health food nut. So I got mini chocolate chips and I cut them in half. So they were hardly getting anything. And then you could just keep cutting them in half and half and say, well, you're a big girl now. You don't need them. I don't get chocolate chips when I pee in the toilet. So you're a big girl. Go with that. They usually like hearing, but they still are going to want the treat. But just wean her off it. Any good resources for moms that struggle with being harsh and critical? I don't know what you mean by that. And I don't have any other resources. I'm a standalone. I just run my own business teaching what I teach, leadership parenting. So I don't know any resources. I never look on anything in parenting or kids online. Why would I? Everything I've learned, I learned from kids. They taught me everything. His teacher sat him alone at her desk, but I feel, okay. So the teacher's doing, and you didn't necessarily like what the teacher did. I never micromanaged a teacher. I don't know anything about teaching. I've sat in the back of hours and hours and hours watching teachers struggle with kids. I would never, ever micromanage a teacher. Huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs at all. And they struggle with parenting too. Parenting's personal. Teaching is different. Yeah, don't micromanage a teenager. Your kid's 5, I think that's his 5-year-old, right? He's old enough that you should, if you're a leader at home, he will not be rude to a teacher or anybody else. It's just the way it is. They bring that personality. When they've got a leader at home, they bring that personality that they are with the leader everywhere they go, because it becomes their identity. That's when their self-esteem is at the highest, is when they're with the leader. So that's why you tend to like yourself the best when you're with the leader. So therefore you're like that everywhere. My son was in grade 2 and his teacher called me at the lunch hour to tell me this. She thought this was so cute. She said to him, he's in grade 2. She goes, "Why are you so nice?" And he said, "Mommy makes us be nice." Darn rights. Darn rights. That was my only focus. I wanted them to be happy and I wanted them to be nice. So yeah. And I wanted to have fun with them too. I don't just teach. I don't want obedient soldiers. I wanted my kids to think for themselves, be problem solvers, have confidence, have a voice, be funny, be fun. I wanted to enjoy my kids, and I did. I wallowed in them. It was the most fun I ever had. It was the most fun period of my whole life was parenting. We laughed every single day. The kids and I just had a blast. So that's what I want for you. I want you to enjoy parenting, not just have obedient little soldiers. That's ridiculous. I want you to have fun with your kids. I want you to be friends with your kids, but guide them into making good choices so they have high self-esteem. And they're a pleasure to be around. Not nice, but respectful. Both. Nice is respectful. When you treat people nice, you're respecting them. Yeah, I wanted both. Do you ever find it difficult to be a leader parent 24/7, always following through? Oh, okay. 24/7. No, I didn't, because I knew the results. I had a lot of experience with kids before I had my own, but I knew the results. I knew where I was going. I had faith in all this. So no, I never found it difficult at all. I found it way more difficult to not follow through because I knew the results of that too. Okay. So yeah. And by the time my kids were 3 to 3.5, they were self-disciplined. I didn't have to discipline them after that. It was very rare that they ever got in trouble. And it was never anything big. So yeah, I knew what I was investing in, and I knew I wanted to relax and have fun with my kids. And that's what I was working towards. And it worked. Didn't have to discipline them. We just laughed every day. It was wonderful. I know I had people used to say, every time I see you and your kids driving by, I had a little blue RAV4 in Australia where I raised my kids. And they said, every time I see you and your kids driving by, all I ever see is this. You know that cartoon where they'd laugh and their heads would go like that? And they said, you just have a riot with your kids, don't you? And I said, yeah, I do. I worked for that, though. I earned that by being 100% consistent. And then they were self-disciplined. You just gotta, it's not forever. Getting respect is hard work. You gotta earn that. Once you've got it, you just have to maintain it. So that's the easy part. I don't teach maintaining respect. I teach getting it. Because once you've got it, you don't need my help. Okay, I got to get going. If you want to check out the link above, you can see my free behavior board, my mini toddler courses, which are disappearing this weekend. They're just going to be in the boot camp course. You can see my 2 boot camp courses. There's a toddler one and a 3 to 12-year-old. The behavior board now has an add-on. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get the free behavior board. That's how you get it. And there's a toddler section on it now. That's brand new. And we've also updated the behavior board. It's the same. We've just beefed it up and made it look prettier, but it's the same behavior board. I haven't changed that behavior board. I invented that, putting the parents on it too. I haven't changed that in 17 years. So it's the exact same information. Everyone has a role and consequences, parents included. And then you can look into coaching if you're interested. That's one-on-one with me. It's all done on Google Meet. What else? And our podcast. My daughter and I are doing it together. She's my business partner. And so, yeah, we're doing the podcast together. It's lots of fun. And also this Saturday, we're doing the, group live Q&A sessions with the bootcamp course people. So if you're already in the bootcamp, doesn't matter where you are, you could have done it a year ago, or you might not have started it yet. You can join the boot, you can buy it. And then the free group live Q&A sessions start this Saturday. They're just like a one-off. We did it once before. It's just a series for 6 weeks. So we'll all turn up on Zoom together and I'll answer all your questions. As many questions as I can. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I've done it before. It was lots of fun. And all those videos, if you can't turn up, you'll see them on the course afterwards. They'll all be included in the subsequent weeks afterwards. So it doesn't matter where you are in the course, you can still turn up and just ask questions or just chat about your own experience. It's kind of nice for people heading into the course to see people who were in week 4 or 5 or people who finished it a year ago and then see where they're at. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting. Bye now.